Okay, my video cut off for a second. Before I move on to the next one, I just wanted to show one last thing. For contouring, you can also kind of do cross contouring, like you can do curved lines in two different directions. If you'd like, it's really up to you. It's up to what you're drawing and what style you want to use. Stippling is next. The definition of stippling is using small repetitive dots to build shadow. Using small repetitive dots to build shadow. So this is definitely one of the most time-consuming and tedious techniques of all of them. So I want you to practice it and decide if it's something that you would want to do. Some people love it, some people not so much. But it's really just making dots. And again, the closer they are, the darker the value. The farther away they are, the lighter the value. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So just practice doing different values. So do dots that are close, do dots that are far away. Another thing you can try is to kind of start in one corner and then make it very dark. So doing a lot of dots, and then it kind of gets lighter. I think you get the idea. Stippling. So we're going to do our value scale, start with the darkest one. This is going to take the longest, and you want to fill this box with dots, and you want to see very little spaces between all of your dots that you draw. Alright, on to my next value. So just like those value scales where we were doing the lines and there were less and less lines in each box, this one's just going to have less and less dots. So you kind of want to pay attention while you're doing it, just to make sure that you're not doing too much, because with ink there's really no going back. Alright, next technique is scumbling. The definition of scumbling is using random squiggling and swirling lines to build shadow. Using random squiggling and swirling lines to build shadow. So scumbling is essentially just controlled scribbling. So I like to do circular motions. This is one of the faster ways to build value, but you still want to have some control. And when your scribbles are closer together, it's darker. When it's farther away, it's lighter. This one has a more, I guess, chaotic style, but if that's something that would work for your drawing, then maybe this is a technique that you want to use. You don't have to do circular motions. You can also kind of just do random lines like that. And for your value scale, I'm going to go darkest to lightest. All right, and the last technique is circulism. Circulism is using repetitive circles to build shadow. So you'll notice with each definition, it all ends with building shadow, because that's what you're doing. You're starting with white, you're starting with a blank slate, and you're adding shadow from there. So you're not really adding light, you're kind of taking away light as you're drawing to make things darker. So like I said before, there's really no going back, so you want to be careful when you're drawing to make sure that you're not making things too dark. You kind of just have to know when to stop, otherwise then your values are just a little darker if you do too much. So circulism, repetitive circles. So you're just drawing circles. And I mean, you can really do this with any shape. So it's kind of like an in-between of stippling and scumbling, because it's not dots, but it's a lot more controlled than just scribbling with scumbling. So again, when your dots are really close, it's really dark. When your dots are far away, it's really light. This one's really good for building some kind of texture. And those are our 6 techniques.